Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we've made an 11 out of players who went from washed up to world class, resurrecting their careers. Let's kick it off. Goalkeeper, Lucas Fabianski. We start with Lucas Fabianski, who departed Arsenal in 2014, having made 5 appearances in the previous 3 seasons, thanks to the emergence of Wojciech Szczesny. Szczesny would eventually leave for Juventus, while his replacement David Ospina would wind up at Napoli. But Fabianski's initial destination was less glamorous, as he headed to Swansea on a free transfer, hoping to rid himself of the nickname Flappy Hanski. The Pole went on to miss just 3 Premier League matches over the next 4 years, and in that time the Swans conceded roughly 10 goals fewer than XG predicted, thanks to their unfancied stopper. Eventually relegation came for the Welsh side, but Fabianski had shown his quality, and while the rest of his teammates dropped into the Championship, he headed to West Ham for €8 million, the biggest transfer fee of his career. To date, West Ham have allowed a massive 61 expected goals in this season's Premier League, but their brilliant keeper has conceded just 52. That's the second biggest gap between expectation and reality in the league after Newcastle's obscene 10-goal delta, and shows that even at 33 years old, Fabianski remains among England's best guardians. Just before we get into our first defender, make sure that you've liked this video and subscribe if you want to hear more great content. Defender, José Fonte. Let go by West Ham after just a year at the club, 35-year-old centre-back José Fonte must have thought his top-level career was over, as shown by him accepting a move to China with Dalian Yifang, where he featured alongside Nico Gaitan and Yannick Ferreira Carrasco. But after 5 months, the Portuguese had had enough, and cancelled his contract in order to join then Ligue 1 strugglers Lille. The North France side had finished 17th that May, avoiding relegation by a point, but Fonte slotted in immediately, finding no communication issues in a squad boasting 3 other Portuguese players and 4 Brazilians. Manager Christophe Galtier put his faith in the veteran, and at the time of writing, Fonte has the 3rd most minutes of Lille's outfielders, helping the club rise to 2nd in the table. The backline has been imperious in domestic play too, with just 6 sides across Europe's top 5 leagues allowing fewer shots per game than their 9.5, and XG rating them the 2nd best defence in France. The top player at Lille in aerial duels won and passes per 90 minutes, Fonte is leading by example, and instead of making his final act in football padding his bank balance in the Chinese Super League, he's using the time he has left to return a great club to the European Cup. Defender, Ezequiel Garay. Once linked with every big club in Europe, Ezequiel Garay has spent the last 3 years at Valencia, having won titles with Zenit, Benfica and Newell's Old Boys in his native Argentina. The former Real Madrid trainee, who played 31 times for Los Blancos, cost Valencia around €20 million, and at 32 remains a mainstay of their defence under Marcelino. Paired with Gabriel, widely panned during his 2 years at Arsenal, you'd hardly expect Garay to excel, but Los Che boast the 2nd best defence in Spain this season, only behind Atletico, and weirdly just ahead of Getafe and Leganés in 3rd and 4th. Though they sit 5th at the time of writing, XG ranks Valencia as the 3rd best side in the division, ahead of both Madrid giants, and Garay is set to play over 2,000 league minutes for the 3rd consecutive season, while his 2 league goals this campaign came in a draw against Barcelona and a win against Real Madrid. Though his Man United dream might never have come to fruition, Garay has built an excellent career in Spain and is helping return Valencia to the top table of European football, where they belong. On the evidence of this season, he belongs there too. Defender, Dolly Flint. When Dolly Flint left Man United for former club Ajax in the summer of 2018, Red Devils fans were delighted, claiming that the Dutchman would do better at a lower level. But 9 months later, and United are scrapping for a spot in the Premier League top 4, while Ajax have reached the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 22 years, and are on track for a domestic and European treble. Flint is Ajax's most used player in the Eredivisie, seeing more minutes than even keeper Andre Onana, and he's one of just 3 players remaining in the Champions League to have played every minute of the competition so far, along with Onana and Dusan Tadic. He wins the ball back nearly 4 times a game and is the chief distributor in the Ajax backline, playing around 81 passes per 90 to Matthijs de Ligt's 67. Meanwhile, he somehow became a goal threat, racking up 5 strikes and 3 assists in league play this year, including a first senior hat-trick against the Graafschap, despite appearing as a centre-half. Previously Ajax's Talent of the Future and Player of the Year, Flint could cap this remarkable ride with a 5th league title, And if he can lead the Amsterdam side to a continental crown, he will emulate the achievement of his father Danny, who captained them to a Champions League title back in 1995. Right midfield, Gerardo Deulofeu. Now 25, Gerardo Deulofeu almost qualifies as a journeyman already. The Spaniard, who came through Barcelona's La Masia academy, only ever made 23 appearances for the Blaugrana at senior level, instead getting most of his experience so far in temporary moves to Sevilla, Milan, Everton and Watford, who made him a permanent Hornets player for €13 million in the summer of 2018. The problem is that, while talented, Deulofeu has often fallen out with managers, with Unai Emery, Vincenzo Montella and Ronald Koeman all benching the wide man despite generally good output on the field. But in Javi Gracia, Deulofeu seems to have found his ideal coach, or perhaps he's simply growing up. With 11 goals so far in 2018-19, the winger is enjoying his most prolific season since leaving Barcelona B, and another 5 assists in the Prem have given him a goal contribution every 142 minutes. That's better than Sadio Mane's 144 minutes. Ranking 3rd at Watford for shots and key passes and 1st for dribbles completed, Deulofeu may well turn out to be Watford's Mahrez, the all-purpose attacker who could turn the Vicarage Road outfit into Europa League regulars. Everton may live to regret losing him. Central midfield, Andre Gomes. For some players, going to a super club is the making of them. For others, it's a step too far. Andre Gomes was in the latter camp a year ago, having spent 2 seasons at the Camp Nou, where he never quite lived up to his €55 million price tag. Though elegant on the ball, Gomes didn't have the defensive output to ease the pressure on Busquets or the passing range to replace Iniesta or Rakitic, and his abilities were dwarfed by the brilliance of the players around him. So a switch to Everton seemed wise, and while he hasn't quite been the star some have claimed, Gomes has paired well with Idrissa Gueye, the Senegalese's excellent defensive instincts, covering for the Portuguese's more gung-ho style. As in every previous season, Gomes makes around 3 tackles and interceptions a game, hardly spectacular, but along with Gueye he leads the squad in passes per match and is top among outfielders for long passes, averaging over 4 a game with a very impressive 69% success rate. 2 dribbles per 90 is also strong output for a central midfielder, and Gomes has been such a hit with Toffees fans that Marco Silva is reportedly willing to spend upwards of €35 million to make the switch permanent. With Luca Digne also excelling on Merseyside, perhaps more Barca flops should consider a move to Goodison. Central midfield, Tiémoué Bakayoko. Just a year ago, Tiémoué Bakayoko was being called Chelsea's worst signing ever, and when he was sent on loan to Milan after just a year at Stamford Bridge, it looked like he would never recover the form, which saw him earn a €40 million switch from Monaco. The Frenchman was booed for his first 3 months at the San Siro, struggling to adapt his game to a 3-man midfield, with even coach Gennaro Gattuso acknowledging that the midfielder had flaws in his game. But Bakayoko persisted, and by November he began to win the doubters over. Since then, he has missed just 2 Serie A games and has continued to put up excellent defensive stats, winning the ball 5 times per 90 minutes. He's also great at moving it forward, his 2.2 completed dribbles per game ranking him 7th among all midfielders across Europe. In fact, his number of dribbles and whopping 72% success rate are identical to those of Lyon's Tanguy Ndombele, linked with Real Madrid, Man United and Man City. Meanwhile, an 87% pass accuracy and a chance created every match from a player who is yet to turn 25 suggests that Bakayoko has the time and talent to dream of another great move. Though Milan have a €35 million option to buy, Tottenham might want to cast their eyes across London for the Moussa Dembele replacement they desperately need. Left midfield, Rubén Rochina. Spanish midfielder Rubén Rochina, like so many others, was made in Barcelona's academy, but unlike most of his compatriots, he decided to develop under Sam Allardyce at Blackburn Rovers, where he spent 4 years, suffering relegation to the Championship in 2012. Despite his La Masia pedigree, Rochina never impressed at Ewood Park, failing to ever make over 20 league appearances in a single campaign. And when he was loaned back to Spain, he was demoted to the 2nd tier again, this time with Zaragoza. But Granada came next, and Rochina finally began to impress. In 2015-16, he missed just 3 domestic games and grabbed 6 goals and 6 assists from midfield in league play, helping the Andalusians retain their top-flight status. That drew attention from Russia's Rubin Kazan, who spent €10 million to bring Rochina in. But sadly, like Blackburn, Russia was not the ideal landing spot, and he returned to La Liga in 2018, this time with Levante in his hometown of Valencia. This year, Rochina has been the best dribbling midfielder in Europe, averaging an incredible 3.4 dribbles a game, more than a winger like Wilfried Zaha. He also puts in a shift defensively, making 4 tackles and interceptions per 90, and even creates 1.5 chances, racking up 3 goals and 5 assists in La Liga, the third best tally at Levante, behind strikers Marti and Morales. Now 28, Rochina is finally proving the Blackburn faithful wrong. Forward, Marco Royce. Over the 4 seasons since the 2018-19 campaign, Marco Royce played just 54% of available games in the Bundesliga, thanks to a string of knee and ankle injuries which threatened to end his career prematurely. As a result, he went into the season with Transfermarkt valuing him at just €30 million, down from the €50 million he was worth going into the 2014 World Cup, which he also missed with fitness problems. However, the German has been in sensational form under Lucien Favre, contributing 15 goals and 6 assists in the Bundesliga to date, giving him a goal involvement every 99 minutes. That means this year is already his most prolific since 2013-14. And though he's lost some mobility, completing under a dribble per game now compared to the 3.3 he managed then, Royce has played a crucial role in shepherding the squad from one built around Lewandowski and later Aubameyang into another golden generation of youth, with Jadon Sancho the centrepiece. Now 29, Royce seems certain to see out his playing days at the club he first joined back in 1996 as a 7-year-old. Having returned from Borussia Mönchengladbach after Jurgen Klopp's back-to-back title wins, let's hope that Royce is able finally to pick up the championship medal his season merits. Forward, Acharya Shmulik. So Acharya Shmulik may never have been relegated or truly down and out like many of the others on our list, but the Pole has surprised many with his quality in the 2018-19 season. Having joined Napoli from Ajax for €35 million with the aim of replacing the Juve-bound Gonzalo Higuain, Milik only wore the blue shirt for 2 months before tearing his cruciate ligament and being ruled out for his first season. However, the striker made a miraculous recovery and 4 months later was back on the field, ending the season with 8 goals in Serie A and the Champions League. Not bad given that he made just 6 starts in the whole campaign. 2017-18 was predicted to be better, but just a month in, Milik suffered a second ACL injury in a year, this time to his other leg. Another 4 months on the sideline followed, and he reached the summer with only 6 goals, but this time in 5 starts. Having scored or assisted every 85 minutes across his first 2 seasons, Milik has continued to contribute despite his injuries. And in 2018-19 he's maintained his fitness, rewarding coach Carlo Ancelotti's faith with 17 goals and 2 assists in under 2,000 minutes for the Partenopei. With over 4 shots a game and 3 from inside the box, his numbers are as good as ever, and at 25 he's once again looking at a bright future, if his knees can remain in working order. Forward, Max Gradel. When Ivorian forward Max Gradel joined Bournemouth from Saint-Etienne in 2015, he became the club's second most expensive signing ever. However, at €10 million he was still a bargain, having previously spent 2 years on loan at the Cherries and coming off a season of 17 goals and 3 assists in Ligue 1. But his second spell at Dean Court was ill-fated, with a cruciate injury just 23 days after joining, keeping him out of action for 6 months. Gradel never earned back Eddie Howe's faith, and after 25 appearances in 2 years, he returned to France with Toulouse, who loaned him for a season before making the move permanent. And in 2018-19, Gradel has been the life raft keeping them from sinking into the relegation battle. At the time of writing, he scored 10 and assisted 4, while the next most prolific player in Le Pichoun's squad is former Arsenal forward Yaya Sanogo on 3. Expected goals actually says Gradel's performance has been even better than his record suggests too, putting him closer to 18 goal involvements for the season and ranking him 6th in Ligue 1 for XG, above Neymar and Memphis Depay, though admittedly with more minutes. Now 31, the Africa Cup of Nations winner is producing around 2 chances, 3 dribbles and 3 shots a game, single-handedly keeping Toulouse 10 points above the relegation zone. Though he's unlikely to get another lucrative move, Gradel's perseverance is giving his career the happy ending it deserves. So that was our team of players who resurrected their careers, but who did we miss out and who would you have included? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment below and make sure that you've liked it, and of course subscribe to Football Daily for more great videos including Sunday Vibes and Transfer Talk. We'll see you next time.